Dear friends and followers, welcome to Learn DIY Electronics. In this video, I'll guide you through programming or uploading a hex file to an AT89C51 or AT89C52 microcontroller. These were the very first microcontrollers I worked with, and they hold a special place in my electronics hobby journey. Both are 8-bit MCUs, with the AT89C51 offering 4 kilobytes of flash memory and the AT89C52 with 8 kilobytes. This tutorial will have you blinking in LEDs in no time. So let's get started. First, let's gather our tools and materials. We'll need some connecting wires, a breadboard, solder, 2.54mm pitch male header, and perforated printed circuit board. But this is optional just in case you want to solder the components for solid connections. For voltage regulation we need a LM7805 linear voltage regulator IC. Also we need one TO220 compatible heatsink with screw, 1 piece 10 kilo ohms resistor, 17 pieces 330 ohms resistor, 17 pieces LEDs, a tactile switch, 2 pieces 22 picofarad ceramic capacitor, 1 0.1 microfarads capacitor, 17 pieces jumpers, 1 piece terminal block, 100 microfarad 25 volts electrolytic capacitor, 1 10 microfarads capacitor, 1 330 microfarads 16 volts capacitor, 1 1000 microfarads 16 volts capacitor, 1 16 MHz crystal. In my case I will use 11.0592 MHz crystal to provide the clock signals. For ease of reprogrammability, a 40-pin ZIF or zero insertion force socket is much preferable. And lastly, the AT89C51 or AT89C52 microcontroller. For tools we need a soldering iron, side cutter and Willer SP200 version 2 high voltage parallel programmer. On the software side, we'll need to install Willer utility software. Let's get started with the circuit. Start by building the circuit on your breadboard, or if you want solid connections, solder the components if you have perforated PCB. It's pretty straightforward if you follow the circuit diagram provided. Once that's set up, install or open the provided portable application for the Willer utility software, then connect the SP200 V2.0 high voltage parallel programming tool. Plug it into your computer. You might see in the device manager that the CH340 USB to serial converter driver isn't installed. Just go back to the application folder and install that CH340 driver. Now that the USB to serial converter driver is installed, grab that mini USB cable and re-plug it into the SP200 programmer tool and check it out. The blue LED should start flashing a few times. That means the programmer is good to go. Open the Willer utility software, and let's verify our connection. Head over to the Hardware tab and click on the SP200S programmer and hit Connect. This will let us confirm everything's connected properly. Now choose the AT89C51 or AT89C52 microcontroller in the list. Open the sample hex file included in this tutorial because it's time to upload this to the AT89C51 microcontroller. With the LED blinky hex file ready, the first thing we'll do is clean and erase the flash memory, then hit that program button. Next, we'll verify the firmware. This step will compare our hex file with what's actually loaded onto the microcontroller IC. If we get no errors, it's a success. Finally, let's bring it all together. Take the microcontroller IC, place it onto our breadboard circuit or insert it on the ZIF socket on the PCB. Connect the power supply and we should have a blinking LEDs connected on some ports of the AT89C51 microcontroller. And that's it, our first AT89C51 LEDs blinky hex file programming tutorial is complete. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and feel inspired to keep building. Don't forget to subscribe. Stay creative and happy tinkering.